So are you a senior golfer who's really happy with how they hit their irons? And generally the fairway woods are pretty good, but would love a little bit more distance off the tee? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the easiest golf swing for a senior golfer to drive the ball further than ever. Right then, so the good news is you don't have to be a senior golfer to benefit from this video. If you're just somebody who wants to hit the ball further from the tee, some of the points I'm going to talk about in this video could be absolutely game-changing for the way you swing this club and help you hit the ball further than ever before. So before I get into the full content of the video, if you're new down to my channel, welcome down to Ali Taylor Golf. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If while you're watching today's video, you're enjoying the video and you don't currently subscribe to my channel, please consider clicking the button below. Remember to ring the notification bell because then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. But for now, let's find out how you're going to hit your driver further than ever before. Right, so certainly when golfers come and see me, and senior golfers in particular, the one thing they talk about is that they're generally quite happy with how they strike their irons and the fairway woods, and they feel they get the ball in play, but just feel that maybe an extra 10, 20, if you're being greedy, 30 or 40 yards off the tee would absolutely transform their game. Now, I say a lot of senior golfers, I think 20 yards extra off the tee would transform most golfers' games, but what I generally see when golfers come to me that maybe struggle with distance from the tee is we can see there, fairly decent down the left side. So for me, when I swing like that, my club head speed was 99 mile an hour, my ball speed was 141, my carry was 222, and my total was 245. Now, obviously, a lot of golfers aren't generating that kind of speed, but if we look at that swing from face on, in slow motion, what we can see is from a decent setup position, as I move into my backswing, my hips don't turn a huge amount. That really restricts how much my shoulders can turn. So the backswing becomes a little shorter than ideal. The club head's got less distance to travel, and therefore, the club head speed is very limited to what we can produce. Now, I know a lot of guys will comment and say, well, my backswing's going to be reduced, it's going to be shorter, I'm getting that little bit older, and I kind of really lack flexibility. And I think what's really difficult is when we watch the top end golf, a lot of the comments that are made by commentators are how flexible the top end players are. And don't get me wrong, they are phenomenal athletes nowadays. But when I watch golfers swing and kind of get into that backswing, kind of very much like that, they may be limited with how much they can move. But if we taught you how to move better and you could make a bigger backswing, get that club head moving for longer and accelerating longer, wouldn't it be natural that we'd pick up speed and hit the ball further? Absolutely it would. So what I'm going to get you to do is, I think when we looked at that swing, we noticed how kind of static kind of my hips were. So we're going to pop the club down for now, and I'm going to give you a couple of ways that you can feel that you get using the floor better to get your body turning more and quicker. So the first way that we're going to generate a little bit of power is as you stand normally, I want you to feel that you kind of take your left foot off the floor, then your right foot, and kind of move that so you're pressing harder and harder into the ground. And you can feel the harder you push into the ground, the quicker you move. And that's as we push into the ground, that energy comes back up through your muscles and actually starts generating some speed. So then the key is, if I can start generating some speed that way, I need to be able to turn. Now, big thing I see with golfers is because they keep their feet very planted on the floor, they're very restricted as to how much they can turn. So what we're then going to work on is, as we swing back, I want you to feel that as your weight moves into your right foot for a right-handed golfer, the weight's going to go into your heel of your right foot and your toe of your left foot. So you're going to see that knee go forward, the heel come off the floor, and that hip goes back behind you. And then all we're going to do in the downswing is we would reverse that. We're going to get the weight going back into the heel, into the toe, and what we'll see is as that happens, the hips start turning more. And practice that movement. Get there and feel that you've got that movement. And if you can then push when you're doing it, you can already see on the camera how quickly my body starts to move. So if we're moving a bigger distance and moving quicker, that has got to be the perfect recipe, hasn't it, for hitting driver further. Now, I know what your worry is going to be. If I'm swinging bigger and I'm swinging quicker, am I not going to miss-hit the ball more often? Maybe, possibly. But is it worth the risk for 20, 30, 40 yards further? And one thing we've got to remember is when the ball's on the floor, you need to be very, very accurate with your strike. But the beauty with driver is the golf ball's actually up in the air. So actually, if that club head comes back slightly different places, we don't have to actually be quite as accurate with driver for strike as we do when the ball's on the floor. I know the length of the club potentially makes that more challenging, but the fact that the ball's in the air does make it that little bit easier. So I'm going to do a couple of practice swings. Now I've got a bit of that feel as to what I'm doing with my feet and how the weight's moving heels to toe and pushing into the ground harder when I'm doing it. I'm going to try that on a couple of practice swings. And that feels big, it feels long, it feels quick. Does it feel as controlled? Maybe not. Does it only feel not as controlled though because it's not as practiced? Absolutely. You know, I talk about this a lot with the guys and the women that I coach. When we put speed in, we tend to lose a little bit of awareness, but it's not a skill that golfers work on. They don't practice it, and therefore it's very difficult to get good at something you don't practice. So when you're practicing this as well, I want you to say to yourself, if you're on the driving range like I am here, I don't care where this goes. I just want to feel that I get that movement going more into my golf swing. You can see how far the ball's going. I'm going to use TrackMan as some feedback. You might not have that level of feedback, but let's really try and get that feel into our swing. Right, so that felt very different. I've gone from 99 mile an hour to 109.8. My carry's only gone to 250 and 265, so it wasn't quite out the middle of the club face, but a lot quicker, and even the poor strike went further. So, let's go again. And I'm not expecting first swing for you guys that to feel comfortable and normal. It won't. You need to practice that. So again, even if you need to, when you're here, get that practice of what that feels like. Just feel how everything's moving in my body. And we want that nice big range of movement that you can still generate even if your mobility isn't as good as it was 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago. Hopefully age is only a number. But let's go again and let's see if we can generate more speed. Again, felt a much bigger backswing. So 110.2 mile an hour club speed, ball speed at 158, carry at 256, and total at just under 270. So when we look at that golf swing there in slow motion from face on again, we can see exactly the same at setup. But as we move into the backswing, because I'm allowing that lead heel to come up, much bigger hip turn, much bigger shoulder turn. Now it's hard to see speed in slow motion because everything's moving slow, but you can see a very much more free-flowing golf swing than we saw before. Now, I'm going to do one more of those because there's definitely, even for me, I need to feel a little bit more of this in my golf swing. But let's go one more. Now, the only thing I would say is there might be a negative to this that I'm going to discuss after this next swing. But let's go one more. Really feel how we're using the feet, pushing with the ground. Let's see if we can get over 110 again for me. Definitely quick. It's not quite as accurate. So 110.5 club speed. Ball speed 159, carry 260, and total 272. Now my only negative there is swinging at 99 mile an hour. The setup of that driver actually worked quite well. But if I'm suddenly generating that much more speed, still think the shaft will be okay, even with a 10 mile an hour jump, but I need to play around a little bit with the loft, but that's the beauty with adjustable drivers. But if you can put that into practice, whether you're a senior golfer or not, wouldn't you like that nice easy swing to hit driver further? Right, so like I said at various points during the video, the title of the video is kind of easiest driver swing for senior golfers, but you don't have to be a senior golfer to benefit from this. I see far too often that golfers are too static with their feet, really restricts how the body can kind of turn, rotate, how we generate speed, and you might get driver in play, but it really, really doesn't go as far as you would like or as far as you would need for your golf game. So like we spoke about there in the video, if you can start using your feet better and interacting with the ground in a more appropriate way, the hips are going to turn more, that allows a bigger shoulder turn, gets the club traveling a bigger distance, gets the club accelerating for longer, moving quicker at impact. We all love more club head speed and we all love more distance. So I'd love it for you guys to put this into practice. Let me know by commenting below how big a difference has it made to your golf game. Is it potentially something you were already doing? Was it something you'd forgotten about? But comment below, let me know how this has changed your driving. I only do these videos to help you guys play better. If you have enjoyed the video though, and you don't currently subscribe to my channel, please consider clicking the button below, ring the notification bell, and you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.